Goodfellas with bikes. Should be interesting. Is it though? The Bikeriders is a brand new 2024 period piece drama directed by Jeff Nichols, starring Austin Butler, Tom Hardy, and Jodie Comer. And I was actually quite interested in this movie. This came out over a month ago, and I'm just now getting around to it. But regardless, I was really interested in this movie. I've always loved motorcycles. It's always been kind of an interest of mine. I don't own one, probably never will, but regardless. And I love a good crime drama, so the trailers for this really interested me. I'm a fan of the cast, so let's go ahead and start this review off with the good. And there's plenty to love in this movie. First of all, the performances are fantastic. First of all, you have Jodie Comer, and she's kind of the character that we're following most of the time through this whole thing. She's kind of the outsider of the group. She's just married to a member of this motorcycle club. And I thought that she gave a fantastic performance. I like Jodie Comer as an actress. I loved her in The Duel. And not The Duel, The Last Duel. There we go. And I loved her in Free Guy. And I really loved her here. I thought that she did a fantastic job. I really loved the way she played the character and the way she's mesmerized by this world of bikers. Just a really, really great performance from her. And then you got Austin Butler in this movie, and he's really good as well. And I believe this was the first thing he filmed after Elvis, so the Elvis accent is still there in this movie, unlike Dune Part 2, where it's completely gone. But regardless, I really liked Austin Butler here. He's a very promising up-and-coming actor. After Elvis, his career kind of just skyrocketed, and I'm really excited to see where he goes next in his career after this and Dune Part 2. He gave a fantastic performance. I loved his chemistry with Jodie Comer. I loved their relationship in the movie. Really, really great to see them. And also, Tom Hardy is great as well. Tom Hardy's one of those actors who, in my opinion, can hardly ever do any wrong. And this movie's no exception. He's Tom Hardy doing his silly Tom Hardy voice, and I just love it because Tom Hardy is just a fantastic actor. I also want to talk about Michael Shannon here for a second. Not a main character, but he gave one of the best monologues in the entire film, and the emotion behind that monologue is just fantastic. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, and I just really love Michael Shannon's performance. Then you got other cast members. Norman Reedus, who is almost unrecognizable, has a few scenes here. He's fun. Then you get characters played by Boyd Holbrook, and you get Damon Harriman in here. Really great performances from just about everybody in this movie. And I didn't dislike the story here. It's not anywhere near as action-packed as I was expecting it to be, but then again, it's not a big deal, but I was expecting a little more, but we'll get to that in just a minute. But I like the story here. I thought that you had a really interesting setup with a biker gang, their everyday lives, their meetings. Really interesting to see into this world of bikers, and it was just great. The soundtrack is fantastic. I love the soundtrack and the score, all great in this movie. And the emotion in this movie is really great as well. I really love the ending as well. Really keeps you hooked all the way to the end. And that's about all for the good. On to the bad. And there's a few things I just wasn't a fan of here. It's thundering outside. Sorry if you heard that. Like I said, there's a few things I wasn't a fan of here. First of all, I liked the performances, but every character just feels a little two-dimensional. Every character is just the basic stereotype Austin Butler is the badass rebel without a cause. Tom Hardy is the older, grizzled leader with a funny accent. They really get no real arcs in this movie, except for maybe Austin Butler and maybe Jodie Comer. All the rest of them are just kind of two-dimensional. And then there's the lack of action and actual crime drama stuff in this movie. Most of this movie is kind of just a hangout movie. It's just these bikers hanging out with each other. More thunder. So there's gonna be thunder in this video. Sorry. And there's nothing wrong with a good hangout movie. The Big Lebowski is one of my favorite movies of all time. That is 80% a hangout movie. I love a lot of Tarantino movies. A lot of those are at least 70% hangout movies. But with 2D characters like these, it just loses me a little bit in some sequences. And I know that this is based on a true story and they followed it pretty closely, so you can't really add more stuff to make it exciting. I just feel like this should have just been left at a book, unfortunately. Aside from the performances, obviously they're great, but I don't know, it just felt a little monotonous by the end. Like I said, it's a great, interesting story, but it's just a little boring in the long run. So I'm probably alone on an island thinking that, but it is what it is. So on from the bad, on to the final thoughts. I did enjoy the Bikeriders. It's a little monotonous and a little boring in some parts, but it's not that bad. The Bikeriders is a basic and safe film. I enjoyed it for the most part, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on the Bikeriders. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you have seen it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.